driven from their homes by floods. This food distribution center just outside Kassala town is all these people have to rely on, and they are the lucky ones. Many others have been marooned in isolated villages for several weeks. Helicopters are the only means of reaching them, and they are cut off from the rest. With some of their houses, crops and animals swept away, their suffering is enormous.
Of course, the most devastating for an area like Eastern Sudan has been the inundation of many of the farmlands, and for instance 650 wells have been completely destroyed, and this is destroying the livelihood of the people in these states.
Survivors of the floods have sought refuge on high grounds where they have erected temporary shelters. However, no ground seems to be too high for the torrential rains currently pounding Sudan. Pools of water around the shelters act as breeding grounds for mosquitoes, and both children and adults are falling sick with malaria and cholera, according to health authorities. The floods might have receded in the village of Arabia 7, but the suffering of the farmers living here continues unabated. Yusuf, a father of two, lost his house and belongings in the floods.
It was in the middle of the night, and we were fast asleep when the floods swept through our village. We could not do anything, and we still continue to suffer without much help coming our way.
Most of the infrastructure in eastern Sudan has also been destroyed. This was a major road linking several farming villages to urban centers. Now it is a filthy quagmire. No vehicle can dare go through, and even animals struggle to pass through the sticky mud. This is the river Gash, which burst its banks a few days ago and caused massive suffering and loss of lives and property on many villages along its banks. Once again, due to torrential rains here in Sudan and in Eritrea where it has its source, the levels of the river water are rising. And that can mean only one thing: more floods. Aid agencies say they are bracing themselves for even more suffering.
We need more money. We have so far secured over $13 million in funding, mainly from pooled funds, which the United Nations manages, thanks to donor money. But in addition to that, we have a huge gap that we hope donors will be able to cover.
However, many believe that any planning for Sudan's flood-affected areas and their inhabitants will have to be long-term. Many Sudanese live off the land as subsistence farmers, and the crops have all been destroyed. It could be a long time before they can even begin to start again. Mohamed Ado, Aljazeera, Kassala in eastern Sudan.